Game over, game development. And in the previous video we created this, so we have the paddle and the ball, and the ball is bouncing off the paddle. I can manipulate the paddle with the cursor, and I have changed also the color of the canvas, so you can pretty much go into the hex color and just pick whatever color you want. I don't know, maybe grab this one. So I'm gonna go first of all into the what it was right here, so let me look for it. So it's gonna be this one, and you can just paste that color here, and we have this color here. So okay, we can play around with the colors here. Okay, so game over. So this is the 8th step, and you can check out the code here in the GitHub repository. So to make the game more interesting, we can introduce the ability to lose. If you don't hit the ball before it reaches the bottom edge of the screen, it will be game over. How to lose? To provide the ability to lose, we will disable the ball's collision with the bottom edge of the screen. Add the code below inside the create function just after you define the ball's attribute is fine. So okay, so we are in the create function, game.physics.start game. We can just put it right here, and we're gonna have in the game that physics. So let me see, game that physics, like that, and it's gonna be arcade that check collision. Is gonna be check collision. Okay, and then down, it's gonna be down, and we're gonna set it to this boolean false, like that, semicolon at the end. Okay, so nothing is changing. Let me see. Okay, so nothing is changing. Okay, so that's fine. Okay, this will make 3 walls, tap, left and right. So let me see. Bounce the ball back, but the bottom will disappear. So let me check it out. Okay, so so this one is working, the upper is working, the left is working, the bottom is completely going down. Okay, so the upper is working. Let me try it again. Right, up is working, so left wall is working. Now the right is working, but the bottom wall is not working. Okay, this will make 3 walls, the top, the left and the right. Bounce the ball back, but the 4 bottom will disappear, letting the ball fall off the screen if the pedal misses it. We need a way to detect this and act accordingly. Add the following line just below the previous new one. So okay, we are gonna go pretty much here, and I'm gonna just type in ball that check world bounce. So it's gonna be ball that, it's gonna be check, okay, check world bounce, and we are gonna set it to this variable. So it's gonna be set to true. So ball that check world bounce set to true, and then we're gonna have the ball that events. Okay, events, and it's gonna be that on out, and then it's gonna be off bounce, and again it has to be camel notation, bounce that add, and we're gonna pass in, well, we're gonna use an arrow function here. So inside of the parentheses we're gonna have the arrow function. We're gonna open curly braces, and inside of the curly braces we are gonna have an alert, and inside of the parentheses of the alert we're gonna pass in, it's gonna be game over, like that, and then we're gonna have the exclamation mark, semicolon at the end. Okay, we're gonna have now the to the next line we're gonna have the location that reload, open parentheses, semicolon at the end. And let me see what else we have here. So okay, so we have that, and okay, after the curly brace and just before the parentheses we're gonna pass in this. Okay, semicolon at the end, and okay, semicolon at the end of the parentheses. So let's see how it's doing. Okay, nothing's happened, so let me check it out, the code. So we have physics.arcade, and okay, so we have this piece of code, ball.check world. So ball.check world in that event, and this is gonna be just after the paddle. Okay, so it's gonna be just after the paddle, that game that adds. So let me see, we can just cut this whole code here and move it just below the paddle here. Let me see. Okay, so now it's working. Okay, so let me read it again here. Okay, this will make the three walls that find letting the ball. We need a way to detect it at the following lines just below the previous new one. Okay, so we needed to add it. Well, again, it has to be before the paddle is assigned to the game that add that sprite, and then we're gonna have the paddle that check world bounce and all this stuff. Okay, so let's refresh it and let's see how the game is now. So let me see. Okay, the three walls are working. So let me see now that attaches the, okay, game over, so that's fine. Okay, so it's giving us this alert. That's working fine. Okay, adding those lines will make the ball check the world, in our case canvas, bounce and execute the function bound to the out of bounds event. When you click on the resulting alert, the page will be reloaded so you can play the game. So you can compare this code here, and we already did that, and this is pretty much all that we have for the game over. So let's check out the next chapter, that is gonna be build the bricks. Okay, so we can go here and just for the sake of it, let's check it out real quick, the code. So again, you can check it out in the GitHub repository. Okay, so building the brick field is a little bit more complicated than adding a single object on the screen, although it's still easier with phaser than in pure JavaScript. Let's explore how to create a group of bricks and print them on the screen using a loop. Defining new variables. First, let's define the needed variables at the following below your previous variable definition. So we are gonna have three variables here. So we're gonna go into the upper, and we're gonna have let bricks like that, and it's just gonna be like that. Let bricks, it's gonna be new bricks, semicolon at the end, and finally new brick. Okay, and finally we're gonna have this variable, and we're gonna name it brick info. So it's gonna be brick info, semicolon at the end. Okay, so that's fine. Let me see, we have that up to this point. Okay, the game over. Okay, that's fine, everything is fine. The brick variable will be used to create a group. New brick will be a new object added to the group on every iteration on the loop, and brick info will store all the data we need. Rendering the brick image. Okay, next let's load the image of the brick at the following load that image call just below the other. So again, that's pretty much easier, so as we did that. So it's gonna be in the preload, and it's gonna be the same. It's gonna be game that load that image, open parentheses, semicolon, and it's gonna be bricks like that, and it's gonna be inside of the img that bricks that png like this. Okay, so let's compare it. Again, that load that image brick that png. So I keep saying bricks, and it's just brick. Okay, so save it, and again, nothing's gonna happen because we don't have the file, we didn't download it yet. So let me double check here in the variable. So we have bricks, and then it's gonna be no brick, and then brick info. Okay, so that's fine. Okay, so you also need to grab the brick image. So you click here in this link, and pretty much this is gonna be the brick. So we just download it, and I'm gonna go to my downloads. So I have it here. So this is gonna be, I'm gonna Control X, and I'm gonna go into the let me see, programming, and then game phaser, and then images, and the folder image, and now I'm gonna have the brick. So I already have it here. If I refresh, okay, so nothing is gonna happen yet, obviously. So now drawing the bricks, we will place all the code for drawing the bricks inside of an InitBreak function to keep it separated from the rest of the code. Add a call to InitBreak at the end of the create function. So at the end of the create function, let me see, so it starts here and it ends right here. So at the end we're gonna have init, so it's gonna be InitBreak. Let me see, InitBreak. Okay, so we have this call, let me see, InitBreak. Okay, that's fine. Now onto the function itself, add the InitBreak function at the end of our game code, just before the closing script tag as shown below. To begin with, included to begin with, we included the bring info object, as this will come as handy at the very soon. Okay, so let me see, now onto the function and say add the InitBreak function at the end of our game, just before. Okay, so it's gonna be here. So we're gonna have the function and we're gonna name it InitBreak. So we're gonna name it InitBreak, open parentheses, curly braces, and okay, so we're gonna pass the brick info. So it's gonna be the brick info, like that. We're gonna open curly braces again, and pretty much we're setting it to this object. So okay, so the width is gonna be colon, is gonna be set to 50. Let me see, okay, 50 comma, then we're gonna have the height, and the height is gonna be set to 20 comma. We're gonna have the count, colon, curly braces, and we're gonna set the row set to 3 comma, and the column is gonna be set to 7 comma, and okay, nothing else. Okay, so outside of this curly brace, okay, we're gonna have a comma. We're gonna have a comma, and we are gonna have the offset. So we're gonna have the offset. Let me see, okay, the offset colon, and then we are gonna have an object. We're gonna have in the tab, we're gonna set it to 50. Okay, what else do we have? So we're gonna have the left, and we're gonna set it to 60, like that. We separate it with a comma. Okay, so we have that, and then this curly brace, we have a comma here as well, and finally we're gonna have the padding, and we are gonna set it to 10, and just a comma there. Let me see, curly braces, we ended up here with a curly brace. Okay, that's fine. So let me see, what else do we have? So nothing yet. This brick info object will hold all the information we need: the width and height of a single brick, the number of rows and columns of the bricks we will see on the screen, the top and left offset, the location on the canvas where we shall start to draw the bricks, and the padding between each row and column of bricks. Now let's start creating the bricks themselves. Add an empty group first to contain the bricks by adding the following line at the bottom of the brick of the InitBreak function. So okay, by adding the following line at the bottom of the InitBreak function. Okay, so this is the InitBreak function, so we're gonna type it just at the bottom. We're gonna have bricks. Okay, so we are gonna have bricks. Okay, it's gonna be bricks, and we're gonna set it to the game that add that group. Okay, and just gonna be like that. So We have that up to this point. We can loop through the rows and columns to create new brick on each iteration at the following nested loop below the previous line of code. So we're gonna have this for loop statement, and again we have nothing yet here, as you can see. So we're gonna go below and we're gonna have this for loop. So we're gonna open curly parentheses, and we're gonna have this, we're gonna have the initialization. So C is gonna be initialized, it's gonna be initialized to 0, not O but 0. Then we're gonna have a condition. Okay, as long as C is less than the brick info, that count that column. Okay, so we're gonna increment C by 1. Okay, we're gonna open curly braces, and the statement is gonna be another for loop, and here we're gonna let the R be set to 0. Okay, semicolon, and as long as R is less than the brick info, that count that row, we're gonna increment R by 1. Okay, and then we're gonna have curly braces, and here create new brick and add it. Okay, so we're gonna leave it like that for now. Save it. Okay, so we have that. Okay, so the way we will create the exact number of bricks we need and have them all contained in a group, now we need to add some code inside the nested loop structure to draw each brick, fill in the contents as shown below. Okay, so we are gonna have the brick, the column. That's fine as well. Okay, so now we are gonna have a variable, so it's gonna be let. Okay, so let brick x we're gonna initialize it to 0, and also let brick y, we are gonna initialize it as 0 as well. We are gonna have in the new brick. Okay, so we're gonna have in the, okay, it's gonna be new brick, and we're gonna set it to the game that add that sprite, and we're gonna pass in the brick x, okay, the brick y, and we're gonna pass in the brick inside double quote. So we're gonna end this statement with a semicolon. Then we're gonna have the game that physics like that, and it's gonna be enable. We're gonna open parentheses, and we're gonna pass in the new brick, so it's gonna be new brick. Okay, so then we're gonna pass in the phaser that physics like that, so that arcade. Okay, that's fine, semicolon at the end. We can save it, and let's see. Okay, so it's taking a little bit of shape. Let's keep moving. Okay, so now we are gonna have in the new brick, so the new brick, that body, that immovable, new brick, that body, that immovable, and we're gonna set it to this boolean true. And what else? So we're gonna have in the new brick, that anchor, and we're gonna set it to 0.5 semicolon at the end. Okay, so finally we're gonna have in the bricks that add, and we're gonna pass in the new brick, so like that, semicolon. Okay, yeah, semicolon at the end. Save it, and let's see what we have up to this point. So not much has changed, but let me double check. So bricks that add new brick, so new brick that anchor that set. Okay, then we have the new brick. Okay, new brick that body movable, set to true. Then game that physics that enable new brick, phaser.physics.arcade. Then we're passing bricks. Okay, so yeah, everything is fine here. Okay, here we're looping through the rows and columns to create the new bricks and place them on the screen. The newly created brick is enabled for the arcade physics engine. It's the body. Okay, it's the body is set to be immovable, so it will move when hit the wall. And we're also setting the anchor to be in the middle and adding the brick to the group. The problem currently is that we are painting all the bricks in one place at coordinate 0, 0. What we need to do is draw each brick at its own X and Y position. So update the brick X and bricks Y lines as follows. So let me see, we're gonna have update the brick X and brick Y. So we're gonna update these ones. Okay, so we are gonna have them like that. So let's copy this and let's pretty much get rid of these two lines. And you know what, okay, so let's type it in. Okay, so we're gonna have this constant and we're gonna name it brick X like that, and we're gonna set it to Z multiplied by, okay, and we are gonna have the multiplied by the brick info that width, okay, plus the brick info that padding, okay. And outside of that we're gonna have in the brick info, okay, that offset that left like that, oops, that left, okay, semicolon at the end. Okay, so we have that up to this point. Let me see, and then I'm just gonna copy it and pretty much just update it like that. So let me see, we're just gonna update the brick X. So let's move this one here, and we're gonna have the constant declaration name brick Y, and we are updated it. So we have that. So yeah, the brick Y is pretty much the same, so we are setting it to the R multiplied by the sum of the brick info height and brick info that padding. After that, this multiplication is going to be added to the brick info that offset that top. Okay, so let's check it out, and this is what we have so far. So as you can see, I can game over. So I can play, but it's not really colliding or touching the bricks, it's passing through them. So but we are having some, okay, so we are advancing. Okay, now each brick X position is worked out as brick info that width plus brick info that padding multiplied by the column number C plus the brick info that offset that left. The logic for the brick Y is identical except that it uses the values for the row number R, brick info that height, and brick info that offset that top. Now every single brick can be placed in its correct place with the padding between each brick and draw at an offset from the left and the top canvas edges. So now checking the InitBreak code. Here is the complete code for the InitBreak function. Okay, so let me check it out for the InitBreak function. So that's pretty much the same. This is the this is the InitBreak function. So yeah, we have the same thing. So let me see, it's gonna go all the way here. Let me see, tab 60 bricks. Okay, so this is pretty much the whole thing, and we can just to make sure, just copy this and delete this little part here, paste it in here, and it's gonna be the same thing. So yeah, everything is fine. As you can see, we are passing through the brick, so we need to start working and that, but that is gonna be in the next video. So let me see, everything is fine here. If you reload the index.html file at this point, you should see the bricks printed on the screen at an even distance from each other. Compare your code, so you can check it out with the JavaScript file here, or you can check it out with the GitHub repository. But that's all we have for the build the brick field, and yeah, this is pretty much our final product here.